Moving, Denison Yellow Jackets will be moving left to right on your radio dial as the Rider Raiders are set. And the kickoff from Ben Prater, the Cable One kickoff is up in the air. Anthony Hines takes it up to the 35, and he's going to be wrestled down about the 39-yard line. So Denison's going to start out with excellent position, only 10 yards, 11 yards away from the midfield stripe.
They're on that kickoff, Monty, as I'm sure you noticed, but Hines had a wall of blockers in front of him. And as Lynn likes to say, one man to beat, but Hines just could not accelerate through that hole fast enough.
Hines is the sophomore on the team, and the sophomores are showing a little bit of inexperience so far in the first two games. Coach Brown really looking for those guys to step up. Crawley, 1st and 10. Has the under center, hands it off to Robert Jackson. He's going nowhere. As a matter of fact, he may lose a yard back at the 38-yard line. So not what Denison wanted to start out with, as Crawley bringing back the huddle, and looks like it is going to be a loss of 1.
No surprise right there. The Rider Raiders, of course, suspecting run. Anytime you play Coach Brown, you're going to be expecting run, and they guessed right.
Gabe Carter split out to the left. Looks like twins to both sides. Christian to the left also. Nesbitt to the right. Ronnie Powell to the right. Crawley throws over outside to Gabe Carter, and incomplete. Brings up 3rd down and 11.
On that pass right there, Crawley just a little bit behind his intended target. The receiver had to turn around and couldn't quite get the handle on the ball.
Looks like it was just a quick out, and Crawley just threw it behind him a little bit. That'll bring up 3rd down and 11, as I mentioned, and they're going to bring in, looks like the passing situation. Pritchard comes in, and Vincent Rhodes also comes in, the big tight end. He's also the guy who made the big catch on the first play of the game, but happened to make the fumble on the same play. Crawley under center. Offset eye, snaps it over to Robert Jackson going through the middle. He's going to get it probably about 2 yards up to the 40. That'll bring up 4th and 8 in a punting situation, as Jamie Butler will step on the field to handle those duties. So far this year, Jamie Butler has a 32.2-yard average. He has 10 punts in 2 games. That's not something that Coach Brown was looking for, an average of 5 per game. That's an interesting point. We'll bring up the good and bad part of the 3rd down situation here in one moment. Butler standing at his own 26-yard line, gets off a dandy of a punt. High spiraling punt that'll be backed up about the 16-yard line. And Trent Branch will call for the fair catch, and he'll start showing. This is Mr. James Tate, the quarterback, handing off up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of about 3 yards. Believe the ball carrier was Dustin Barnes on that play. Short gain will bring up 2nd down and about 10, as I don't believe he went very far at all. I thought he had gotten a couple of yards, but it looks like he didn't go anywhere. Tate now out of the shotgun, and we were told that he can really run from this formation as he drops back to pass, throws over, and it's picked off. Christian Brown has an interception, and Denison is setting up right in their Rider Raider territory. Oh, what a play by Brown.
It was a great play, set up in part from the blitzing linebacker that Denison set. Took Tate's eye off of his receiver just a moment. He underthrew the ball, and Denison comes up with the interception.
Denison in great position now at their Rider Raider 21-yard line. They're knocking on the goal, and this is something we talked about last week, Kevin. When they get inside the red zone, they haven't been able to turn points into it. That's good news. Crawley, the quarterback, he's in shotgun formation. This is a draw right up the middle. He's going to go for some yardage. He's down inside the 10, about the 7-yard line. We'll mark it. Yep, he's at the 7-yard line. Crawley, he fooled the Rider Raiders pretty good on that one.
It was a great play. Crawley sold it with the step back from the shotgun and then immediately took off. And it's a good thing, too. The Rider Raiders had a blitzing cornerback coming from Crawley's blind side, and he just was able to rush right past that young man.
Crawley at the line, brings in the power formation, double tight set, offset eye. Crawley under center. Hands off. It's going to be a little end around reverse. And I believe this is Christian Brown. It is. Not much running room, but he does get down to about the 6-yard line, probably the 5. So that brings up a 2nd and goal from about the 5. Denison still in good territory here to be knocking on the door for that touchdown.
That's right. Christian Brown showing just a little bit of that experience as he was dancing around in the backfield instead of cutting upfield immediately.
Another double tight set. This time a power I shift over to the left. Pritchett, the fullback. Hand off to Robert Jackson. Busting is through to the line. Gets down to about the 4. Nothing doing, not much anyway. Maybe about the 3.5. That brings up the 3rd down, and you wonder what Coach Brown will do here, 3rd and goal. Will he pass the ball into the end zone?
You know, it's been the past 2 weeks, Coach Brown has become kind of unpredictable. Throwing in different times for Coach Brown, and you know, it's hard to say.
That's true. He told me that he was reading the paper last week, and they said that they cannot throw, so Brown took it as a challenge and said, hey, I think we can. There's a toss. Robert Jackson to the line of scrimmage. He's pushing, fighting his way to the goal line. Did he get in? No, he's going to be just a little bit short. I'm not sure. He may have gained a yard. Actually, it's hard to see from way up here in the booth, but I believe he got down to about the 2. This will bring up another interesting situation. 4th and goal from about the 2.5, maybe the 3. Will they go ahead and kick? I don't believe so, because it looks like the backfield will stay in there, and it looks like they're going to attempt this 4th and goal conversion.
How important is this play right here, Monty? This play could really turn the Jacket season around right here.
Crawley, the quarterback, shift over in the I formation. Toss to Robert Jackson on the other side, busting it through. He didn't get in. The Rider Raiders stop the Jackets at their own 2-yard line, and the Rider Raiders will take over on downs. That's a crucial possession for Tate, the quarterback. Runs a little quarterback sneak, and he's gonna gain about 5 yards. I'm telling you, Tate is a pretty big guy. He's listed at 6'2", anywhere between 210 and 220. He really comes at you. He's a big kid.
That he is. Well, we've got a quick break in the action. We need to introduce our officials. Referee Benny Russell, umpire Jim McClester, head linesman Clarence Ridge, line judge Morris Montgomery, back judge Joe Roberts, all out of the Dallas chapter.
The Raiders have some big guys up front, including Trevor Stegall, 6'4", 220. Here's a handoff to the right side. That's going to be D.J. Shepard. Actually, it's going to be Brady Holster. He's going to gain a couple of yards. That's going to bring up a 3rd down. And remember, Denison has been very good on holding on 3rd down so far this year. 3 out of 21. That's a 143 percentage. So defensively on 3rd downs, Denison has been great.
David McAdams with that last tackle on the last play, coming all the way around on the backside and making an excellent tackle.
We don't have to guess whether they'll throw or not, because they don't have a problem putting the ball in the air. Tate, the quarterback, he will hand off this time, and it's going to be a great play over there. Johnny Hoover on the spot. Also, Mr. Washington. Washington came from the other end of his defensive end side and made the play, Jason.
If you'll remember, I mentioned Anthony Washington as a key to this game. His explosive speed from the right side of that defensive line could really prove to be troublesome for Tate.
You know, Washington has been one of the guys on defense that has really impressed me so far this year. They're going to be punting out of their own end zone. Looks like the punter is actually standing at the back of the end zone, gets the punt off nicely, and it will go to the 40-yard line of Rider. And this will be Christian Brown taking it, and he will lose a couple of yards as soon as he caught it, there were 3 Rider Raiders on him. So looks like, and it was Trent Branch was one of the guys that made the play.
Excellent starting field position once again for the Denison Yellow Jackets.
You know, that's another over red zone situation that we saw a moment ago. Jackets break from the huddle. Will Crawley also in the ball game along with brother Rob. He'll play the left slot back as we got twins both sides. Last time we saw a draw from this. What will we see now? Crawley, he's got the snap. He's looking back, wants to throw, has his brother out there. Will Crawley gets about 2 yards. A little quick out play, but it's successful, gains about 2 yards.
Something you'll notice, a great mark for the younger Crawley on that play right there. As soon as he caught the ball, turned upfield and looked for somebody to hit.
Well, Will Crawley, his brother's a very good athlete. We've seen him time and time again on the football field. Also plays a little quarterback as well. But I've seen him in practice make some great catches. 2nd and 8, we'll call it. Crawley, the quarterback, Offset I, hands off to Brian Pritchard. Bam, bam, bams his way back to the line of scrimmage and gets not much there as Mr. Greg Hitchcock makes the play again. I'm telling you, we'll call his name all night long. He's the MVP of the district. He is a linebacker, and he is mean.
He is very fast, too. Explosive speed. Mr. Hitchcock showed it on that last play.
Ronnie Powell checks into the game as a wide receiver. Brenton Nesbitt also a wide out on the right side. Powell to the left side. Offset I, Pritchard, and Robert Jackson, the tailback. Crawley looking to pass. Rolls out to the right, looking downfield, has Nesbitt, caught it at the 10, down at the 7-yard line. Brenton Nesbitt with a great play, a great catch from Robert Crawley. And when I say Robert Crawley, I mean Rob Crawley, because Robert is Crawdad.
That's right. A great play between the Crawley-Nesbitt hookup. You remember we started seeing this hookup last year in that first playoff game. Nesbitt coming in and showing some flashes of brilliance there in the latter session of the game.
Kevin, that may be the longest play from a quarterback to a wide receiver in about 3 years. I believe it's been since the Casey Price quarterback days since we've seen one that long. Crawley, the quarterback, hands off up the middle. Robert Jackson busting his way to the end zone and gets to about the 1-yard line. I'm telling you, Robert Jackson has shown some explosiveness that we haven't seen in about 3 weeks.
He really has. He has that ability to, as you said, explode. We're going to check down just in a moment with our Brad Caldwell down on the sideline for that Grayson County area-wide directory sideline report. Be checking with him in just a moment to see what that attitude's like on the sidelines.
Will Crawley checks out. Raymond Smith checks in. Double tight set, actually set to the right. Robert Jackson, the handoff up the middle, nothing doing. He jumps to get over the end zone, but he is stopped up there in midair. I believe that was probably Hitchcock again, as he's everywhere on the play. We'll check down the Grayson County area-wide directory with Mr. Caldwell down there.
All right, right down here on the sideline, we got coaches yelling. We are pumped up and ready to go. I think that they are really turning it on this time. These guys are ready. I think they're ready to not be in the 0-2 bracket anymore. So,
double tight Pritchard up the middle. Touchdown Jackets! Brian Pritchard scores the first touchdown at Munson Stadium in the year 2001. 3:05 left in the first quarter. Denison up 6-0, awaiting the PAT.
You know, Monty, it's going to be interesting to see if a touchdown like this, an early score, can fire up the Jackets.
Swinging gate action from Denison on the PAT. Now everybody shifts back over. We don't see James Butler, the kicker, as we see Rusty Schmitz. Schmitz told me yesterday that he would be starting. In fact, he was and is. Nesbitt the hold. The kick is up. And the kick is good. 7-0. We have a score here at Munson Stadium. 3:05 left in the first. Yellow Jacket football will continue in a moment. The kick is up in the air, and that will be DJ Shepard taking it. He drops it for a moment, picks it up, makes a couple of moves, shifty through the 20-yard line, about the 22-yard line. Let's finish that scoring drive update, Kevin. You know, I know my buddy Lynn Burkhead will be listening on Tuesday night, so that's why I didn't say stick it in the end zone, put it on the scoreboard. Thanks a lot, Lynn. Handoff up the middle, that's going to be number 8. That's going to be DJ Shepard again. Shepard gains a couple of yards, so we'll call it second and about 5 as he gains about 6 yards, maybe second and 4. Shepard looks really nice so far, carrying the ball. He is a senior, and he's 5'8", 162 pounds, making it a junior, so he'll be back next year. Raiders come to the line of scrimmage. Tate, the quarterback, has an I formation set with Shepard in the backfield. Motion to the left. Coming across, Tate hands off up the middle. DJ Shepard finds the hole, gets about 2 more. So Shepard up to about the 30, and that will bring up third down and about 2.
You know, Monty, one great thing that is to see the Yellow Jacket defense just swarming to the ball.
Swarm is something that I think is a key word when you play defense. you have to have all 11 men swarming to the football, and that's a very big word. When I played ball, that was the key word when you're on defense. We broke every huddle out of the word swarm. Tate, the quarterback, in shotgun formation. He can run from this, but he wants to drop back. He's going to throw, and he looks over to his right side, has a man just a bit over his head, but there's going to be a flag on the play as Casey Braxton went up with the receiver. I believe that was Matt Kelly, the receiver, over on the far side. Matt Kelly is 6'5", 213 pounds. Casey Braxton is nowhere near that, so he tried to go up for it, and I believe that's going to be interference on Mr. Braxton for the Yellow Jackets.
The coaches on the Denison sideline are saying that it was an uncatchable ball, but the receiver did get his hands on it. Looked to me like the contact was a little bit right there on time.
Well, he's 6'5". He could have thrown it out of Munson Stadium, and he probably would have got his hands on it. The Riders break towards the huddle. Tate, the quarterback, comes up to the line of scrimmage, has an I formation, kind of a offset I, a Denison look. In motion to the near side. He was turning upfield a little too early. And Washington is going to make a big sack. That's going to be a loss of about 7 yards. Washington came out of nowhere. This is going to be on Ryder because their motion guy he turned upfield before they actually called the play. We'll see what the signal is. Kevin, did you see what that was?
Illegal shift is what I seen right there. As you were right, Monty. Receiver in motion, turned upfield before the snap of the ball.
They're going to mark that off about, we'll see where actually they do it. It's declined, they say. Well, that doesn't help Denison out a whole lot, but scoots them back a little bit anyway. 2nd down and 12. Tate, the quarterback, in shotgun formation. Pounces knee, snap almost over his head, throws out to the right. He's got his big fullback out there, Dustin Barnes, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds about the 48-yard line on the Ryder Raiders side of the 48. It's not quite to midfield yet. Ryder moving right to left on the radio dial. 1 minute 15 seconds left to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Denison.
It's interesting to watch Tate. He's part of that new breed of quarterbacks, the bigger, stronger type of quarterback, type of a Dante Culpepper type of quarterback who stands there, can take a hit, and still deliver the ball.
He is a big, strong guy. Kind of reminds me of Mr. Battle that we saw last year from Denton Ryan, and we'll see again in a couple of weeks. This snap almost over his head again. Drops back to pass. Lots of pressure. Washington gets him. That's going to be a big loss for the Ryder Raiders as Washington comes out of nowhere, and he's had a heck of a game, Jason.
Yes, he has, and if you'll remember, Monty, I believe I listed that as a play of the game, or a key to this game.
Well, you can list that more times than you can list that every week if you want to, because Mr. Washington's having a great day so far. And the Ryder Raiders will now be in punt formation as they're 4th down and about 19 yards to go. 42 seconds and counting in the first quarter. Ryder waiting on, and there's going to be another penalty flag. We'll check this one and see what it is. Yeah, I think you're right. That was LaQuint Smith. He was running onto the field. Now he's running out to the right side. He's the outside contained man, so if Robert Jackson would have got a play on that around the left side, it would have been for a big gainer. However, now we have 4th and 23, and they're looking to get some pretty good field position out of this. When I say they, I mean Denison. Kick is up, and it's a wobbly kick coming near the near side over here. Runs into the Denison out of bounds mark and out about the 42-yard line, 43 on the Denison side of the field. Crawley, the quarterback, shotgun formation, 4 receivers, 2 on each side. Robert Jackson in the backfield. Crawley wants to throw, has it out to his man, Ronnie Powell. Picks up about 8 yards on 1st down. That's what Bob Brown wants to do. We haven't seen that a lot from Bob Brown in his coaching days. We see a lot of runs, not a lot of passes, Jason.
You know, you may be wondering if it may be the same kind of mindset as drifting up from Sherman. Where they used to just run. Now they're going with the spread offense down there and having great success. Look what's happening tonight.
Interesting theory, Jason.
Yeah.
Once again, here we go, shotgun formation, and time has been called because that's the end of the first quarter. Denison on top, 7-0 at Munson Stadium. We've got a great ball game here, folks. Yellow Jacket football will continue in a moment on KMKT 93.1. Welcome back to Munson Stadium. Crawley, the quarterback. Quarterback draw up the middle. He's got some running room. He's to the 35, down to the 30-yard line. We're going to mark him, they say, at the 32, though. But that was a nice long play. I'm not sure how long that was, Kevin, but that was a nice long run.
Well, when you look at that play right there, designed run from the very go. Crawley took that snap, had a huge hole to run through. Kudos goes to the guys up front.
Yeah, he took about a 3-step drop, never even looked about passing. He just finally stood there and took off up the middle, and that was a great job. Also, we've got a center change this week that we may need to talk about in a second. Crawley, shotgun formation. This is going to be the draw to Robert Jackson. Jackson up the middle, fighting for more yards, gets down to about the 28. So Denison moving strong now. That's going to set up a second at about 6 yards.
You can almost see the momentum or fire or whatever you want to call it getting into these kids in the offensive line. They've had a tough time in the past few weeks, looking good tonight.
I think it's once you finally get a lead, once you finally get on top, it drills a lot of confidence in you. And like we say, we've had a center change, and we'll get that to in here in a moment. As Crawley steps up to the line, he has Pritchard and Jackson right behind him. This is Pritchard up the middle. This is a little trap. He fumbles and rumbles and stumbles down to about the 21-yard line. That's going to be close to a first down. They'll go ahead and give it to him. And Denison now with 2 first downs already in this drive, looking sharp.
Speaking of the substitution on the line, they moved junior Shane Stone over to the right guard position. And then Richard Money moved to center. I believe that's right.
We'll give you the Jim McClure State Farm trivia question here momentarily as Crawley's in the shotgun formation. 2 receiver set each side. Crawley, this is another draw up the middle. He's going to gain about 4. Crawley, and I don't think they ever brought him down. They had 4 guys standing around him, but I don't think they ever brought him down.
Something that you can tell has been drilled into the kids in practice this week. Crawley, when he took off both arms around that football.
Yeah, I sure did. Let's go ahead and do the trivia question. This is brought to you by Jim McClure, State Farm agent here in Denison. Go ahead and tell us who has the longest run in school history, and how many yards was it? Call 465-6200. The first person with the correct answer wins dinner for 2 at the Cotton Patch. Handoff to Jackson up the middle over right side, gains about 3 yards. I thought he was going to go for a big gainer on that one. Brings up third and very short. Once again, that number is 465-6200. 6200. And the first winner wins a dinner for 2 or lunch at the Cotton Patch. Again, the question was, who holds the longest run in Denison school history?
I know.
I do too.
No.
I'm not telling though. Crawley to the line, shift out over to the power set I. And now they want to toss over to Robert Jackson. Makes one move, tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. Still fighting, still going down the sideline. I don't know how he broke that, but he broke about 3 tackles, kept his legs going, maybe 4 tackles. What a run by Robert Jackson.
You can really see the difference in the backs, pulling that senior leadership into the running back position. Jackson with so much more explosive speed shows up right there.
We'll check that. I believe that was Howard Jackson in the ball game. Crawley, the quarterback, as the Jackets come up to the line of scrimmage. Pritchard and Jackson in the backfield. This one's going to be Robert Jackson this time, and they will give it to him. Robert up the middle, gains about 2 yards. He goes leaping over the pile and gains about 2.
Jackets really playing determined football right now. You can see it as they're constantly marching, a steady march towards the end zone.
I do believe that once, these kids, once they finally get a lead, like we were talking about, that just brings all the confidence in the world when you finally, and also a comfortable surrounding here at home at Munson Stadium for the first time. We've got 8:37 left to go in the half, in the first half that is. Denison on top, 7-0. Power backfield with 3 backs. Pritchard up the middle. Nope, he's going to hand off. Yes, he did hand it off to Pritchard, and he's going to lose about a yard.
Mark Oatman with that stop right there. He just grabbed Pritchard and flung him to the ground. Very seldom will you see that happen to Bam Bam.
No, Bam Bam usually bams other people. And we talked about that with him yesterday. I had a chance to talk to him, and he said Coach Racy Guest gave him that name just because he bams everybody around in practice. Rob Crawley, Crawley, the quarterback, will look to pass. Has a man out. That's in trouble, and it's knocked away at the last second, but it's caught! Somehow it's caught out of nowhere. His brother, Will Crawley, makes the catch. Wow, what a play. That's going to be down around the 1 yard line. No, they scored on that play.
They did. It was the ball was tipped. The defender guarding the initial intended receiver and guarded him well. Swatted the ball away, but younger Crawley was coming and trailing the initial receiver and was able to pounce on that ball. Grab it
wow, I don't see how that happened. That's just incredible. You know, we've seen all the bad luck, now we see the good luck. This is going to be a fake, and it's going to be a 2-point conversion for Robert Jackson as the Denison Yellow Jackets pull a sneaky one, and they go on top. Now, there is a flag on the play, so we'll check this and see what the call is, and I do believe it's holding, and I do believe it will come back, so we'll await probably now the PAT from Mr. Schmitz. I doubt that they'll try to run this again.
Well, you know, they ran that same fake last week and pulled it off successfully then, too.
You know, they run the old swing and gate, and they kind of caught me sleeping over there because they always lull it back around, and they always kick the PAT. However, Coach Brown lulled not only me to sleep, but lulled the Raiders to sleep as they scored on that play.
It is a holding call. It's going to back it up 10 yards, and we'll see Rusty out there to try that PAT.
And Rusty had, would this be a field goal, would be a 30-yarder. So this is, in effect, a 30-yard PAT. Right now it's 13-0 with 3:47 left to go in the first half. And the Smiths kick, it is up, and it is long enough, and it is good. 14-0, 7:47 left to go in the first half. Denison on top. Yellow Jacket football will continue in a moment. Jamie Butler, the Cable One kickoff is up in the air, and it is back, and it's caught around the 8-yard line as the Rider Raiders advance it up to the 20, looking to go further, but bam, Pritchard lays it on him and moves him back, but they're going to give him forward progress to the 21-yard line.
Great hit by Brian Pritchard as he came down and just blasted the kick returner for the Riders.
That was an amazing touchdown play. As now the quarterback, Tate, will look out, and he options it off to the left. That's going to be, oh, that's a lot of running room. He may be gone. He's down to the far sideline. He's at the 40. He's at the 30, tripped out of bounds by Casey Braxton. Braxton saves the touchdown. They're going to call him down at the 40-yard line, Denison's 40-yard line, so that was a big gainer. That was Shepard on the run. That was DJ Shepard, and Shepard has shown a lot of speed so far, and he showed a lot of speed on that play as I thought he was going to be gone, Jason.
The Jackets just kind of fell asleep. He over-pursued on the left offensive side of that play, and he made him pay.
That's one thing we haven't seen from the Denison Yellow Jackets so far this year is a big play given up, and that seems to be one that may go down as one of the longest runs we've seen so far this year given up. Timeout called on the field. We'll take one here as well. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football. 7:25 left to go in the half. We'll be back in a moment from Munson Stadium. Welcome back to Munson Stadium. Tate, the quarterback, wants to throw downfield. He's got a man. He's got Brady Hoister, and it's in and out of his hands. He was going for the bomb down around the 20-yard line, but it was incomplete, just out of his hands.
And the Jackets got really lucky right there as they were beat bad on the corner. Had two defensive players supposed to be shadowing the receiver, and both of them missed the assignments on that play.
I know on the cornerback side, on the near side, is Christian Brown. He's had a heck of a game so far, but looks like he must have failed on that play because Mr. Holster was wide open. Tate calls another timeout. We'll call one too. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football on KMKT 93.1. Tate, the quarterback, shotgun formation, hands off up the middle. This is going to be, oh my, Casey Braxton came up and popped him behind the line of scrimmage. I thought he was going to get away for a moment, but Braxton made a heck of a play coming up to the line of scrimmage and putting him down.
You know, Monty, the Yellow Jacket defense they've played pretty solid all season, and they're really starting to come together. You can see it tonight, bodies flying everywhere, and they're anticipating the moves of the offense.
Yeah, they've played pretty well. Other than a couple of, other than the big play tonight, they've really played really well. 6:46 left to go in the first half. 14-0 Denison. Tate, the quarterback, looks back, wants to throw out in the flats to Barnes, and it's just out in front of him just a little bit as he gets his hands on it, but can't haul it in. He was at the 32-yard line. That would have been close to the line of scrimmage. So that's going to bring up a 4th down and punting situation at 4th down and 11.5 probably. So the punt team will come on, and the Yellow Jackets will have another shot to maybe run this one back. They may get bad field position because this one could land around inside the 10.
This would be the first chance for the Jackets to start on their own half of the field.
And this is going to be Sandridge, I believe, that's going to do the punting. And he gets the punt off. A wobbly punt, way out of bounds. And actually, it goes pretty well for Denison because that turns out to be about a 6-yard punt or so. That's 2 weeks in a row that we've seen punts less than 10 yards, Kevin.
First down 10 for the Yellow Jackets from their own 28-yard line.
That was Ben Prater, the punter. And that will go down as a 5-yarder, I believe.
Difference between this punt and the last short one we had. The last punter had a 40-yard wind at his back.
That's true. There's a little wind on the field, but not quite 45 miles an hour worth. Crawley, the quarterback, shotgun formation. We've seen that a lot so far. This is the draw again. He's running to the right side, but his horse collared and thrown down at the line of scrimmage by number 21. That's Mark Oatman on the defense. So the Rider Raiders containing pretty well on that play.
Oatman, another really quick defensive player for the Rider Raiders. That's 2 big plays that he has made solo tackles on.
Will Crawley checks out of the game. Ronnie Powell checks in. Nesbitt to the right side of the field. This is Gabe Carter to the left and also Ronnie Powell to the left as we have 2 receivers to the left to the near side. Crawley in the quarter drops to actually, the snap goes back to him. I couldn't get it out of my mouth because the ball was on the turf. They snapped it back to him. The snap was a little bit low. He tried to pick it up, and when he did, he had 3 guys right in his face.
And Crawley, finally, you could see it flashing in his mind, trying to force the pass because he did get the ball back up and finally did the smart thing and just took the ball up and took that sack.
Andrew Jones, that sounds like a player. Maybe it's because I'm thinking of the one over in Atlanta. He's a pretty good player. This is Crawley in the shotgun formation once again. Wants to pass. Got plenty of time. Throws a little dump out in the flats, and it's going to be for naught. He's probably going to lose about 5 yards, as that was Greg Hitchcock, the big man on defense, made the play on Howard Jackson, and that brings up a long 4th down. 4th down and about 20 yards.
Butler is definitely going to see action on this play right here for the Jackets.
This is where we see James Butler pull out the miracle punt and send them all the way down to about their own 20-yard line. This is where we want to see about a 70-yarder because he's going to be standing at his goal line or about the 5. There's going to be a stop and play. They're going to call the timeout. As James Butler stands about the 3-yard line, gets the punt off. It is a boomer, and it's going to land about the 48 of Rider, and they're going to take it up. Oatman is going to take it up to the 38 of Denison. So Mark Oatman, and as he was showing some quickness on defense, shows some quickness there as the punt returner and gets about a 12, 14-yard gain, brings it up to the 38-yard line of Denison.
Monty, let's check down with Brad Caldwell on the sidelines for a Grayson County area-wide directory sideline report. Brad?
All right, well, if your offense is doing good, normally your defense gets pumped up and doing good. The line is doing good right now, stopping the run. We need to work a little bit on the backs and the linebackers because we are getting some passes gone. They've helped us out by dropping a few, but we've got to keep it up and keep everybody rolling. So back up to you.
One thing we talked about as when I talked to Coach Brown earlier is we talked about all those great teams Denison had, and everybody wants to talk about the offenses. We'll get back to that in a moment as Ryder comes to the line of scrimmage. Tate is in the shotgun formation, which we've seen from both sides of the ball. He wants to throw. He's going to throw downfield. He's got a man, but very nicely covered by Ronnie Powell.
Tate was down on that play. Another blitzing linebacker getting to him on that play right there.
As I was talking about when I talked to Coach Brown, he said, you know, the great thing about those teams that went to the state playoffs for 3 years in a row, it wasn't the offense that carried the football teams. It was the defense, because the defense would give them the football so well in good field position that it didn't take but about 30 yards to go score every time.
Every time you shorten the field, it's that much easier to score.
That's right, and that's what the Yellow Jackets are trying to do tonight. However, the Ryder Raiders have it at Denison's 39-yard line. Tate, the quarterback, under center, rolls out to the left, now pitches it out to Shepard, and Shepard gains about initially 5 yards, but the Powell will push him forward a little bit, and he'll be close to the first down as he is marked down at the 32-yard line. Has to get to the 29 for the first, but it is 3rd and down, and Denison has done real well on 3rd and down so far.
Tate running that option to perfection as he's sucking the defense right into his face before he makes the pitch. I think I seen some Dallas scouts up here taking notes just a moment ago.
Vincent Rhodes checks into the game, the big sophomore. He'll play on the line at the defensive tackle position. Tate, the big quarterback, under center this time, not in the shotgun formation, an I-set formation, hands off to the tailback, hit at the line of scrimmage and down. Oh my, what a play. That was Raymond Smith as he just took him out. Raymond Smith came out of nowhere. Must have been coming up on a fire from that linebacker position because he met him. As a matter of fact, I thought he would have got the handoff himself.
He busted through that line in a hurry. Of course, Raymond Smith, the 5'6", 170-pound junior, a solid ball of muscle.
He is. Him and Pritchard are about the same type of guy, as they may start calling him Boom Boom. Defense awaiting Ryder to come to the line. Now they do. Tate is back in the shotgun formation. This is 4th down and 5. And shotgun almost over his head. He's going to throw downfield. He's got a man. Same play as well a moment ago. And this one's going to be over his head as well. As he was the intended receiver was Brady Holsler, as it was thrown out of bounds about the 20-yard line over his head. So the ball will turn over on down. So they do it once on our end of the field. And we, of course, turned it over on downs on their end of the field. We've got 3 minutes, 2 seconds left. Denison on top 14-0.
You know, Monty, Tate, so far, has had a pretty tough game passing. Not exactly sure the numbers as we look to the Wizard, Kevin Farr.
How can he come up with that so fast?
I don't know. It's
we
like
just said, I don't know what the numbers are. They're 1 for 6 for blah, 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 blah.
6 yards.
Crawley, the quarterback, under center. He's going to hand off this time. Howard Jackson up the middle, gains about 2 or 3 yards before he's finally brought down. And he's brought down by Dale Finnegan, and Finnegan is a defensive tackle. But, of course, their big man was there as well, Greg Hitchcock, who was the MVP of the district from that linebacker position.
3 receivers checking into the huddle right now, Monty.
Bam Bam steps out on the sidelines as we have twins to the right side. And what I mean by that is 2 receivers out there.
Twin receivers to each side.
1 man in the backfield as Crawley wants to throw. Throws it out in the flats to his brother Will. Will has almost broke a tackle. He breaks 2 tackles. He's down the sideline. He gets to the 35-yard line of Wichita Falls Ryder Raiders.
There you see Crawley Square that we've been talking about all season.
That was a great throw and catch from Crawley to Crawley. But wait a minute, there is a flag on the play.
More dirty laundry littering the field.
That's got to hurt if you're Denison. That'll bring it back to your side of the football field, and we'll check that, and it is holding against Denison. So Denison shooting themselves in the foot there as they had the crowd awoken and screaming over here. They had me screaming as well. They'll back it up 5, and now it will be 2nd down and 15. Jerry Jones checks into the ball game. We'll watch the reverse because he's the kid that really has some speed, and he will split out wide to the left along with Ronnie Powell and Christian Brown. 3 receivers to the near side. Howard Jackson, the tailback. Crawley is going to step back. He's going to throw to the left side. He's got Christian Brown, and had he had a block over there, he would have been gone as he got out to near the midfield stripe, and he gets to the 48, and that's going to be a first down. So a big play there as he got enough for the first.
He really did. It's nice to see the way that the passing game is opening up for Denison. Whether or not that's attributed to the change in the backfield, starting to open things up there and opening it up for the passing game, we'll have to wait and see.
One thing we want to mention is the offensive line has been great so far tonight. Crawley has not been really under pressure at all. Crawley in shotgun formation. Here's the draw again, up the middle. He's got some running room. He's up around, and he gains about 9 yards, or, well, we'll call it 7. I thought he had about 9. So that'll bring up third and about 4. Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. 1 minute, 39 seconds left in the first half. 14-0 Denison. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Munson Stadium. The Yellow Jackets on top, 14-0. We have 1:39 left to go in the first half. Crawley and company really looking well so far, and I tell you, Jason, Crawley to Crawley has been a pretty good matchup.
It's a lethal connection. You know they played backyard ball growing up, so it's just going to transpose out here on the football field. 3
receivers to the right side. Crawley in the shotgun formation with a one-back set. Wants to throw. Throws out to the right side, and is going to be down about a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage as the ball was thrown a little low. I believe that was Christian Brown who caught that one as well over on the right side.
Brown seems to have had some bad footing this game several times. I believe that's the second or third time I've seen his feet give way.
No huddle offense as they're really in the 2-minute offense here. Crawley shotgun, wants to throwing a little bit deep down. He's got Nesbitt down around the 30-yard line, and he's knocked out of bounds. So he does get out of bounds. That's a great job by Nesbitt being aware of the situation as there's 1 minute, 11 seconds left on the clock. And so far, a great job on the time management end of it as Nesbitt is able to get out of bounds and stop the clock there. 1 minute, 11 seconds left to go in the first half. Denison on top, 14-0. Crawley shotgun formation, double receivers on each side. Awaiting the snap. The snap is good and back. Crawley wants to throwing the fade route, and there's going to be some extracurricular activity over there around the 20-yard line as Nesbitt was going deep for the ball but was pushed out of bounds by the cornerback.
They decided he had burned him once. He wasn't going to burn him one more time as we go down and check with Brad Caldwell on the sidelines. Grayson County Area-Wide Directory sideline report. Brad?
All right, well, what they're doing today is they're throwing a lot of short passes, and then when they go to the air, they are getting it done. They need to keep up and fool them with the short game and then go to the air. They can take them all the way today.
And I believe that's going to set the ball about the 25-yard lines where the referee's holding the ball now.
$15-yard variety.
Yeah, when Nesbitt broke the line, he was going deep for the pass but couldn't get down the field because the cornerback just shoved him out of bounds, and they are calling holding on the defense, and they will move the ball. Right now it's standing at the 24-yard line.
Crawley showed great poise throughout this game, Monty, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's really played a spectacular lights-out quarterback so far, and especially with the tip drill in the end zone to his brother. We've got 3 receivers to the left side, including his brother, Will Crawley. 1 receiver to the right. Back to pass and shotgun, throwing it deep down in the end zone. That's Jerry Jones, just out of his hands. He was in the end zone, stretched out, diving for the ball, and it was just across his fingertips as, he gave an effort for that, but it was just a little bit too long. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 as Coach Brown hammers it out through the air to the end zone, and that's something we never see, guys.
Never have. Never.
Here's another shotgun formation as Crawley back to pass. This is a draw up the middle. This is Howard Jackson, breaks a couple of tackles, goes up to the 15-yard line, but there's a flag on the play right at the line of scrimmage, so we'll check that. Anytime it's thrown at the line of scrimmage, it's normally holding, so we'll check and see.
We've got multiple flags on the field. I don't know if this is for the same infraction or not. We will see.
And against Denison, they just announced. I didn't check the infraction, but I did see him pointing towards Denison.
Yeah, I believe that both the flags were for the same penalty right there, holding against the Yellow Jackets.
They're going to mark that off 10 yards, so we'll bring up second down and 20. So the Jackets got some work to do to finish the first half up. We've got 46 seconds and rolling. Crawley shotgun formation. Double receivers to each side. Wants to throw, hammering it out towards the end zone. He's got a receiver, and it is just out of his hands. There's another flag. We'll check that, see what it is. It may be defensive interference again.
Pass that time thrown to Jerry Jones. Once again, you know, Crawley has just a slew of great receivers this year.
Well, he's got some fast ones, that's for sure. Jerry Jones is really fast. We saw his speed on the last play that he went towards the end zone 2 plays ago.
Pass interference is the call on the Raiders.
Another thing that does, guys, it stops the clock. There's 36 seconds left to go in the first half. Denison looking to make it a 21-point advantage, and maybe 22 if they go for it again with that swinging gate. We'll see if they get the touchdown. 2 receivers to each side. Crawley, the quarterback, under center this time. Steps back 3 yards, pumps, throws down the field, and great coverage downfield. And that's going to be the cornerback, Brandon Rodriguez, had Nesbitt covered all up, and there was not a chance for a catch on that play as Rodriguez was all over him.
It was another good play by Crawley, though. He put the ball only to where his receiver could get it. Even though it was thrown a little long and Nesbitt didn't make it, the defensive corner had no chance on that ball.
Gabe Carter and Christian Brown check into the football game. The speedster Jerry Jones will check out. There are 2 receivers to each side. Howard Jackson in the backfield, Crawley under center. And he drops back. This is a draw to Howard Jackson. He's got some running room, breaks a tackle, gets down around the 7-yard line. Clock running at 21 seconds. 19, 18, 17. Are they going to stop the clock? We'll see if he spikes it or not. Crawley under center, throws the ball down, stops the clock with 13 seconds left to go in the first half. Denison on top, 14-0. We'll see what Coach Brown wants to do from here.
Halftime score, Sherman Bearcats 7, Paris Wildcats 0.
Yellow Jackets up to the line. They're going to actually try the field goal from here. This is Rusty Schmitz. And the kick is on the way, and the kick is a line drive, and the kick is good. 17-0. Denison will take a lead into the halftime as there's 9 seconds left in the clock, so we'll be back in a moment on KMKT 93.1. The referee blows the signal, and we're getting ready for action here. We'll bring you the American Bank scoring drive in just a moment, right after the Cable One kickoff. Butler on the move. The kick is on the way. It's a squibber, and it's going to bounce down around the 20. And the Rider Raiders aren't going to finally fall on it at the 19-yard line. They were having some trouble there.
They took their own sweet time covering that one.
Yeah, they sure did, as Ryan Scribner finally fell on the football with 5 seconds left to go. Kevin, let's give American Bank scoring drive recap.
Tackle for the Yellow Jackets.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Can we play the rest of the game?
That's the end of the first half, folks. Denison on top, 17-0. Denison Yellow Jacket football will continue in a moment on KMKT 93.1.
guys talk to Jamie Reese about getting this kind of executive in? So,
football, 918-860.
And he kicks a high poocher way up in the air, comes down about the 25-yard line, and it is taken by Trent Branch, who's running right up the middle, has some running room, and he stops about the 45-yard line after Jerry Jones and And looks like Will Crawley bring him down. Brenton Nesbitt also there, but they'll stop play. They'll start play at the 45-yard line in their own territory. The Jackets defense will start on the field. Shelly Pitts up front, Vincent Rhodes, Johnny Hoover, Will Crawley, David McAdams, Christian Brown, and a lot of those guys back there. Ronnie Powell over on the right corner. These guys have played great so far. Quarterback pitch off to the right, to the left side actually, and he gains about 3 yards. Now that was James Tate, the quarterback, and pitched it over to Barry Bronow. Bronow now checks into the ball game as the tailback, and we'll see how long he stays in there. As now they'll make a switch, and Greg Ralston will check out of the ball game, and I do see DJ Shepard. He will line up wide to the right. Quarterback hands off, draw up the middle, stop, nothing doing. Goes to about the midfield stripe, right at the 50, and Denison brought up a 3rd down and 5 so far already.
Denison Yellow Jacket defense, I believe you were talking to Brian Adams, and one of the young men off the defensive side of the ball who said their goal was 3 and out every time, and that's how they're opening this second half.
A great job by the Yellow Jacket defense again on 3rd downs thus far tonight. 1 for 5 are the Raiders.
I want to take that back. Shepard is not in the ball game. I don't see him yet. Tate, the quarterback, shotgun formation, throws out to the left flat, throws it short, and incomplete for his receiver. That's Skipworth over there on the left side. That'll bring up a 4th down. And punt time again for the Raiders. Denison's defense really doing the job because they've held them to a punting situation several times already in this ball game.
You know, looking at the Denison Yellow Jacket defense in years past, you wouldn't think of them as being a great passing defense. But so far, Riders only completed 1 pass.
Robert Jackson, Christian Brown set to return this kick as it's a good kick. Lands down inside the 10-yard line. Jackson takes it. He's up to the 15. He's up to the 20. He's going on the sidelines. He's up to the 30. Steps out of bounds at the 25, so they'll bring it back a little bit. And he just kept going, kept moving those feet, and I thought he was finally going to break it.
On that punt, Kevin, was it Jerry Jones that was in there once again almost for another block punt? He was very close. Once again, one swim move, and he has passed his blocker.
Jerry Jones is just incredibly fast. He must run like a 1.640. It's like blinding speed.
Another nice return by the Jackets on the punt. 16-yard return sets them up in decent field position.
Double tight formation. Will Crawley split to the right. And Crawley will hand off up the middle. That's Howard Jackson. Got some running room to the 30, to the 40, brought down at the 41-yard line. Ball is loose. I don't know whether they're going to mark him down. I think they did. I saw the referee throw his hat down at the 41-yard line, and I believe they're going to say he was down.
Jackets catch a break right there. From my vantage point, looks like he had coughed it on the way down. And,
not sure. I couldn't tell exactly, but I did see the referee throw his hat down. And that'll bring up a 1st down after the big run. Howard Jackson looking good so far. Twins to each side. Crawley back in the shotgun formation. Awaiting the snap. It's a good one. Crawley backs, wants to pass into the right side. He's got Nesbitt. That's a gain of 5 yards. Tackled immediately, but that's a great gain. Good pass and catch from Crawley to Nesbitt.
Another short pass. And Coach Brown's passing strategy, shortest pass, weakest coverage.
That's true. Nesbitt, he's been open a lot over there on that little quick out. I think he ran a quick in, and the guys were, I tell you, the defenders were about 3 yards away. As soon as he caught it, they were there, but they weren't there to deny the catch. 2 receivers each side. Howard Jackson in the backfield. Shotgun for Crawley. Crawley wants the snap. Gets it. It's a little bit low. Now he hands off to Jackson. Howard Jackson across midfield, across the 45 to the 44-yard line. And a great run again. That'll move the chains once again. Denison's running game now picking it up, and this is what we've seen for the past 2 years. We've been doing Yellow Jacket football.
Monty, news of note, Shelly Pitts, number 51, over on the sideline. Looks like he may be experiencing some sort of cramp as he's on the sidelines trying to work that out.
We'll have our sideline guy check that out, and we'll go down to him in just a sec. Crawley, the quarterback. Now we have a stacked backfield. Hands off to Bam Bam Pritchard up the middle, and he goes for about 2 yards as Pritchard looks like Moose Johnson on that play, puts his head down and runs, and they snap his feet out from underneath him and lands on his face a la Daryl Johnston. So that'll gain 3 yards, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 7. And then if same holds true, we'll see the shotgun formation here, but looks like we won't as an I formation, straight I. Crawley brings him to the line, hands off, toss to the left to Jackson, who fumbles the football. I don't know whether he got on it or not. It was right at the line of scrimmage, and Ryder saying they have it, and now the referee says that Ryder has it. So the Ryder Raiders recover a fumble as Howard Jackson took the toss, cut up to the middle, and just lost it.
Teams are even in the turnover department right now. Let's go down to Brad Caldwell for a Grayson County area-wide directory sideline report. Brad?
As you said, he was just experiencing a cramp. He said he was doing okay, a little bit of pain, but he's going to grit his teeth and keep playing.
Thank you for that report, Brad. Shelly Pitts there hydrating himself.
8 minutes, 27 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Denison on top, 17-0. James Tate, the quarterback, will bring him to the line. Now pitches out to the left. Got some running room. That's Barnes, and he gains about 5 yards before the Denison defense swarms around him and brings him down. And Johnny Hoover was one of the guys on the spot.
Johnny Hoover with a huge hit on Tate as he broke free from the line of scrimmage.
Now, Tate is a big guy.
He is.
He's 6'2", in between 210, 220, but Johnny Hoover is a big guy himself. Johnny Hoover is a huge, huge individual on that defensive line. He's 6'2", 224, so he's got a little bit of a weight advantage on Mr. Tate. Tate brings him up to the line, receiver in motion. Handoff up the middle, and that's going to do nothing as the Denison defense swarms again. And I'm going to tell you, guys, Kevin and Jason, Denison's front line is dominating that line of scrimmage.
That they are. Brent Lemons that time busting through and making the stop.
7:27 left to go in the third quarter. Denison on top, 17-0.
An update from Bearcat Stadium, 10-0 now. Sherman over Paris as the Bearcats controlling that one late in the third quarter.
Must be a dry field over there or something.
It really is.
James Tate back to pass. Looks over across the middle. His receiver dropped the football. Would have been a nice gainer, but Skipworth running across the middle dropped the football right at the first down marker. So that'll bring up, guess what? 4th down again. 4th and 5 with 7:06 left in the third. Robert Jackson and Christian Brown will go back deep to receive the punt.
Watch Jerry Jones on this punt attempt right here.
Ben Prater going to try to get this punt off before Jerry Jones blocks it. And the punt is back, and I'm telling you, they almost did get it. Russ is going for Robert Jackson, who takes it, and he's going to run towards the near side, cuts it up towards the middle, and gets out to about the 32-yard line. So that's where Denison will take shop at their own 32. And Robert Jackson gets up holding his right hand a little bit. Not sure if he's just got a stinger. Might have Brad check out what's going on with Robert Jackson as he's kind of flinging his hand around. He may have just gotten it stuck between a helmet or something. Anthony Hines checking into the ball game. He's been playing tailback, and that means Howard Jackson will come out. So this will be the first time that we've seen Anthony Hines into the football game. Two receivers to the left, Nesbitt to the right. Washington, actually that's Ronnie Powell in motion. He wants to throw to the right. He's got Nesbitt. Great catch across the middle in traffic. 3 guys hanging all over him. Brenton Nesbitt comes down with a football, a gain of 5. Coach Brown's got to be really happy with that.
It really does. That play right there, very reminiscent of West Coast offense a la Montana Rice connection.
Yeah, I was thinking of Michael Irvin when Aikman would step back 3 steps, look over to the quick look into Michael Irvin, which would be good for a first down any time they wanted it, and that was kind of reminiscent of that with 3 jerseys hanging all over Brenton Nesbitt. 2 receivers to each side, 1 back set. Crawley with shotgun formation, wanting the snap. Calls for it, gets it, hands it off up the middle. Anthony Hines, that's going to be, he's up through midfield. He's got it broken. He's down to the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. It's a touchdown for the Jackets. Lynn, I would love to say stick it in the end zone, put it on the scoreboard, but I just did. Sorry, Lynn. I had to do it.
63 yards.
63 yards. Anthony Hines takes it to pay dirt.
Longest run of the year.
That is the longest run of the year, folks. What a great job this offensive line has done.
They really have. They've opened up huge holes. Let's hope this continues.
Sorry about that, Lynn Burkhead, but, that's in honor of you, buddy. Only one time. Here's the kick. It's on the way. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 24-0, Denison on top. 6:05 left to go in the third quarter. There's no place like home. That was the rushing total. The Cable One kickoff is up in the air, and that's going to be taken by Trent Branch, and he's up to the 30. He's up to the 20, and he gets knocked down about there. Casey Braxton and company. I believe Jerry Jones was also there, a host of them. Also, hey, Anthony Hines makes that tackle as well after he ran that 60 yards. So, hey, sophomores get to do everything.
Something to look at, too, Monty, and we may ask Coach Brown the strategy behind this. Jamie Butler was in on that kickoff.
We'll have to check that and see what's going on there. I don't believe we ever got a chance to check with Brad, and we'll do that in a second to check on Mr. Jackson's hand. That would be Robert. He was shaking his hand earlier like he had got it stuck between a face mask or something. We'll check on that. Here comes Tate, the quarterback, up to the line of scrimmage. He's going to pitch it out to the outside to Barnes, and he gets lost yardage.
Guess who?
Hello, Anthony Washington.
Hello, Anthony Washington. That's right. Him and Ronnie Powell both coming up to make that tackle, and that's a loss of 5, Jason.
Cody McGuirk checking into the game.
Shelly Pitts back into the ball game. That's good to see. Most of the first team is out there. As Tate, the quarterback, comes up to the line of scrimmage, and he is actually going to be in the shotgun formation. Wants to throw, throws it out in the flats. He's got Barnes. Barnes makes the catch at the 19. That's going to get him close to the original line of scrimmage. As that brings up that famous third down again, and Denison has done real well on third down so far this season. We've got 5:04 left to go in the third quarter. Denison on top, 24-0.
The Raiders on the night, 1 for 7 in third down opportunities, and the Jackets just keep pulling them out, turning them back.
This is a completely different football team than we have seen so far this year. Tate, quarterback in shotgun formation, wants to throw to the opposite side, of the far side. Almost picked off by Ronnie Powell. It went right through his hands. The intended receiver over there was Brady Holster, but Ronnie Powell was the first guy there to touch the ball.
I think Ronnie was really surprised because there was no one around him. If he makes that catch, it's 6 the other way. No one in front of him. He was so surprised with that open real estate that gawking at it, he forgot to grab the ball.
Here comes Mr. Brent Prater back onto the field, and he's the punting expert who will probably be without a right leg tomorrow since he's punting so much tonight. Robert Jackson and Christian Brown back deep to receive the punt, and we'll see Jerry Jones fly from the side, and he almost got that one again. Robert Jackson makes the catch at the 48, still going, still dancing, breaks the tackle, still going, spinning, juking, zigzagging, dancing, whatever you want to call it.
I think he ran 20 yards to gain those 7.
He finally gets knocked down at the 41-yard line. We'll call it the 42, actually. And Denison starts in Rider territory again. Great field position, 4:23 left in the third quarter. Denison up on top, 24-0, and a beautiful night at Munson Stadium. One of the tougher things about coming into Munson Stadium is this big sign that sits on the north end zone. We'll get to that in a moment as Crawley's in shotgun formation. Wants the snap, gets it. Great snap. Throws to the left side. A fade out to Jerry Jones. Makes the catch at the 10, down to the 5-yard line. Jerry Jones showing that great speed. Almost scored. He broke away from his man. The cornerback was Brandon Rodriguez, and Rodriguez was the guy who had great coverage earlier, but he can't catch up this time as Jerry Jones breaks away.
This game plan is blowing me away.
It's the West Coast offense in Denison.
You know, I believe that Coach Brown was feeding me a line of bull yesterday when he told me, I asked the offensive coaches if we should change philosophy, and they said no. Crawley, the quarterback, hands off up the middle. That's going to be Jackson back in the ball game, and he gets across. He never went down. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets. He broke 5 tackles. Howard Jackson gets into the end zone, and Denison now goes up 30-0. 3:54 left in the third quarter. Denison on top at Munson Stadium, feeling good as they await the PAT. Now they've got the swinging gate going again, and they're not going to lull me to sweep this time. They break back over. They get toward the middle of the field. And Rusty Schmitz will try the PAT. The snap is back. The kick is up. It's on the way, and the kick is good. 31-0 from Munson Stadium. Denison on top. 3:54 left to go in the third quarter. Yellow Jacket football will continue in a moment. We're getting set for the Cable One kickoff. We got a quick scoring drive, Kevin.
Well, another quick one. Another quick one for the Yellow Jackets. 42 yards, 2 plays, and that time they just took 29 seconds. It's a Yellow Jacket offense of old. Take less than a minute to score a touchdown. Took 7 quarters to get on the scoreboard to start the season, but now they're rolling.
Here's the Cable One kickoff. It's booted deep. Butler inside the 5 as it will be taken there and run up to, there's a flag on the play. He's going around the far side. He's going up around the end, and he's going to break a couple of tackles and go down about the 35. And when I say he, I meant to tell you Trent Branch, because he's the guy that's been returning them all night. Remember, there's a flag down at the 22-yard line, so we'll sort out the penalties. Kevin, I'm going to tell you, I think it's Lynn Burkhead.
I don't know.
We've lost, the Jackets have lost 3 straight when Burkhead's in the booth.
That's right.
Well, how about the red zone tonight for the Yellow Jackets? They've been in the red zone 4 times, 3 touchdowns and a field goal in the red zone. The field goal right at the end of the half, and that's 6 straight times now they've been in the red zone that they put points on the scoreboard.
This is the Jacket offense of old, the Jacket defense of old.
Correction, it's not the Jacket offense. They're passing way too much.
But they're scoring points is what I mean, obviously. And it's the Jacket scoreboard of old of 31-0. I was going to tell you earlier, one thing is that the opposing team comes into Munson Stadium, and probably the first thing they see is this big, huge sign down at the north end of the end zone that says district champions and lists off about 15 years. By-district champions lists off about 15 years. Area champions lists off about 10 years. Regional champions lists off about 10 years. State quarterfinals, 7 years. State qualifiers, 5 years. And then the big one right over here on the near side, 1984, state champions, 16-0. That can be pretty intimidating when you come in here as an opposing player and say, hey, these guys got a little tradition and history behind them.
Hey, check out these numbers tonight for Rob Crawley as well, guys. Is Crawley having a great night. 117 passing now for Crawley, 11 for 15 through the air.
Tate will take the ball at his own 27, hands off up the middle of Barnes. Barnes met by Casey Braxton, and he finally drags him down about the 32. So that'll bring up second and about 5 yards or so. Pretty nice play up the middle. That's probably one of their biggest plays of the night is a 5-yarder, and Denison really holding true on defense. 3:17 left to go in the third quarter. Denison on top, 31-0. Tate, the quarterback. Big, strong kid in shotgun formation. Wants the ball. Gets it. Wants to throw. Throws to the right. Throws it over Skipworth's head. Nowhere really. It wasn't even a threat to be caught. As it goes out of bounds, Britton Nesbitt picks it up, gives it back to the official.
Did you see who was in the backfield on that one, too? Mr. Washington.
Washington is a hoss, people.
They just screwed up the whole screen. I mean, Tate had no time to get it out there.
You know, we talked last year about how good Eric Jackson was. We even called him Action Jackson, and how he caused all kinds of havoc in the backfield. Anthony Washington may be that and more, and he's half the size, folks. Quarterback gets the ball, throws it out in the flats. That's Barnes. He's going to be across the first down stripe. Now is finally being wrestled down after he breaks about 5 tackles, gets across the midfield. Now there's a flag at midfield. We'll see what this one's going to be. But that was a nice catch and run, as it was just a little screen pass to the back out in the flats, and he gained about 20 yards.
Let's go down to Brad Caldwell for a Grayson County area-wide directory scoreboard report, see if he knows what that penalty was. Brad?
Couldn't really tell from here. It looked like it may have been holding on the defense. We haven't had the call yet. Tonight we've had a few injuries, but it just looks like adrenaline is running, and nobody wants to admit it. Just walking right by the coaches, not saying a word, looking at you and gritting their teeth. They're ready to play tonight.
Thanks, Brad. That's going to be called back. Looks like they're going to step it off against the Rider Raiders. So we'll.
I think there was 2 penalties: a hold on Ryder and a face masking penalty on the Yellow Jackets. Let's see if it's a first down after the walk-offs.
Well, they initially moved the ball back to about the original line of scrimmage for the Rider Raiders. Now they mark it down at the 33-yard line.
Offsetting penalties called.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 5 after all that craziness.
1 for 8 also on 3rd downs tonight for Ryder.
2:41 left to go, 3rd quarter. 31-0 Denison. Back to pass. He's got looking downfield. He's looking across the middle. He's got a man up to the 45-yard line. That's going to be a first down. Keith Gauthier makes the catch. Gauthier is a 5'10", 165-pound senior, and they'll move the chains. It's not very many first downs tonight, Kevin.
That's just the 3rd first down of the night for the Rider Raiders.
Well, you got to hope that Tate and Raithier combination is not starting to heat up right now.
You know, if you're an opposing team of Denison, what do you do now when you're studying the films and you're looking at them not moving the ball at all, and now you see them in shotgun motion every time? As he will be sacked in the backfield. That's James Tate looking back to throw, and he had nowhere to go as McAdams was right there. Smith was right there. I'm telling you, folks, Raymond Smith was all over him, along with, gosh, there were several of them.
Pick your number.
Johnny Hoover. Whew. Hoover's a muscle man all over the place out there. 2nd down and long. We'll call it 13. James Tate, the quarterback, trying to lead his team to a scoring drive in which he hasn't yet. They're up on the line, 3 receivers to the right. Hands off up the middle to Barnes. Anthony Washington meets him at the line of scrimmage, but he somehow fights through for about 2. I thought, he hit him about 2 yards deep. But somehow Barnes must have enough leg power to keep driving as he ended up gaining about 2 or 3 yards on the play.
I think that was Raymond Smith in the middle of the backfield, nearly tackled the running back for about a 5-yard loss. Then Washington was right there to clean up on the play.
These guys on defense really know how to hit, that's for sure. 3rd down and 10. Tate, the quarterback. 2 receivers to the left side. Pitches it out to the left. That's Barnes, and he is close to a first down. He takes it across midfield into Denison territory, about their 45, and that's about where he needed to go for the first down. Let's check down with Brad Caldwell of our Grayson County area-wide directory sideline report. What do you got, Brad? Do you think it's a first down?
It's looking like it so far. They've already moved the chains. They didn't even bring it out to measure. They just went straight to it.
We're inside a minute now with 44 seconds and rolling in the 3rd quarter. We've got a Denison advantage of 31-0. Tate, the quarterback, got slot set, 2 receivers on each side. Shotgun formation, throws it across the middle. He's got Skipworth, runs to the 5, runs for 5 yards, gets up to about the 35-yard line.
Looks like a little bit of momentum starting to swing back Ryder's way as they're completing some passes, and they may feel like their quarterback, Mr. Tate, is starting to get into some kind of rhythm.
Well, he's got to finally get in a rhythm. He's too much of a great athlete to really not. This kid can really sling that football. And I tell you what, he's a good athlete. Sits back there in the pocket, knows what he's doing, seems to be a real sharp guy. As the clock will tick down now from the 3rd quarter, 7, 6, 5. They'll let this one go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Denison on top, 31-0. We'll be back in a moment for Jacket Quarter. You're listening to Yellow Jacket Football on KMKT. Johnny Hoover and company come back on the field on the defensive side of the football as we'll get a chance to watch James Tate in action, moving right to left on the radio dial. Receiver in motion to the right side. Hands off up the middle. That's going to be Barnes. Big running room down to the 20, down to about the 16-yard line. As Barnes, really, they fooled him. They ran the little trap play, the little counter draw, as they had 3 receivers to the right side and just handed off kind of behind his back to Barnes. Barnes ran around the left side and got some big running room.
Jackets had a corner coming on the blitz, that time backside blitz, and they just ran right past the play.
We want to say thanks over to Germain Designs. They're the guys that always gets our fine uniforms up here in the broadcast booth. They put together some shirts for us this year that are fabulous. I mean fabulous. Go by there and get you one because they can make anything you want. James Tate, quarterback, shotgun formation, gets the snap. He's going deep for the end zone, and the pass is over his head, just out of the reach in the end zone. That was Brady Holster trying to holster that one down, and he didn't make it because the pass was just barely thrown. I'm going to tell you, Tate has a cannon.
He does. I was watching him in pregame warm-ups, and he was sitting flat-footed throwing it 50 yards.
He just threw that one 30 across the field. So that was probably about 50 yards when you add up the amount of yards it takes to go across the field. Greg Ralston will bring the play in this time. Second down and 10. Out of the shotgun formation, James Tate back, receiver in motion to the right side, now turns around, goes left. Tate back, rolling to the right, wants to pass over the middle, almost intercepted. Great defensive play by Anthony Hines as he got between the ball receiver and the ball, and he just knocked it down. Great play. Let's check down on the sidelines with our Grayson County Area Wide Directory sideline reporter. That's Brad Caldwell.
Checked in on number 16, Robert Jackson. He's having problems with his hands a while ago. They have an ice pack on it right now. They said they don't know if it's a break or just a sprain, but he will probably not come back as Denison is leading well enough without him right now.
Great job, Brad. Tate back to pass, wants to throw over, and another great job by the defensive secondary for Denison as that's Christian Brown who knocks the pass down. They actually had 3 guys on that one receiver, and that one receiver, again, was Brady Holster, so he is their go-to guy over there. Holster is the guy who last week caught 3 catches for 27 yards, and that's about as good as there was for any receiver for Ryder.
You know, we brought up an interesting point. We said Robert Jackson, number 36. Brad was talking about number 16, Rob Crawley, with an ice pack on his hand.
Ouch, that's not good.
Will Crawley, excuse me.
That's Will over there. And here's Barnes running to the right side. He's going to be tackled, swarmed, horse-collared, and thrown to the turf after a gain of about 5. So that'll bring up 2nd and 5.
That was 4th down.
Oh, they had already switched it over for me. I'm not even paying attention now. It's 31-0 with 11:04 left in the 4th quarter.
This is exciting ball.
I can't even tell you what play we're on. There's so much traffic going on with the hands being torn up and everything else. Great job by Denison there. As they'll come back to the huddle on the offensive side of the football. Rob Crawley comes to the line. Actually, we'll check that. Cody McGurk into the game, and he'll immediately call a timeout. Didn't like what he saw. We will take it with him. 11:04 left in the 4th quarter, 31-0. Denison on top. Yellow Jacket football will continue in a moment. Welcome back to Hudson Stadium. McGurk, quarterback, tosses over to Howard Jackson, who gains about 5, but he fumbles the football again. And Ryder has taken over, and they will take over possession at Denison's 15-yard line.
Crucial turnovers, Monty.
No, I think the official's holding up 2 fingers. It should be. I think it's still Denison's ball. The official's holding up 2 fingers.
It must be.
2nd down.
It must be. They must have ruled him down. But the way the Ryder Raiders were acting, they were jumping all over the place, acting like they had taken over possession. But you're right. The referee is the one who counts, and he's the one that says 2nd down. So the second team offense is back on the ball, and they could actually snap it here and go because the Ryder team is not even out on the field yet. And here they come, and now they get set. And now the referee blows his whistle, so now we're ready for action. Blows it again. They stop play again. We'll see what's going on here. They'll probably...
I think Coach Maskew may want a instant replay look at this one.
That may be tough. He may want to check over there with the Cable One guys, and he may have to wait till Tuesday night to do it. Which reminds me, everyone that can't see the game here, you can watch Cable Channel on Cable One and pick up this game on Tuesday night. And you can see that big long run from Anthony Hines, the 63-yarder that broke the back of the Ryder Raiders. And you can probably catch all the post-game activities as a cheerleader throws a football over my head. Wait, I don't know who that is. Maybe she should be playing quarterback as well.
I was going to say, it just now came down.
And McGurk hands off inside. That's Pritchard. And Pritchard is bammed down about the 17-yard line. As I was saying, you could probably watch the post-game show on Cable One as well, as Coach Brown will have the big ceremony, as he will be the winningest coach in Denison school history. He will pass Marty Criswell with his 90th victory. 90 wins to 25 losses. That's incredible, guys. McGuirk quarterback in shotgun formation. Will he throw? Yes, he will. Throws it out in the flat to Anthony Hines. Hines running to the near side. He's broke another tackle, folks. He's going down, and he finally goes down at the 38-yard line. Anthony Hines really wishing he would have broke that last tackle, because if he would have been gone. Nine minutes, 30 seconds left to go in this football game, and then it will be the Bob Brown show. We'll try to get some sideline reports from Coach Brown, as we got an injured player down over here. We'll check to see who that is. We'll check with our sideline Brad Caldwell in one moment. McGuirk to the line of scrimmage, hands off to Jackson. That's up the middle, and he will go. That's Robert Jackson, crosses midfield, breaks a tackle into Rider territory to the 46-yard line.
Have you noticed the holes that Denison line is just blowing up front?
Oh, it's incredible. They're dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football, as Coach Brown still has faith in Howard Jackson, because he keeps putting him out there, even though he's put the ball on the turf twice tonight so far. They got to keep one of them. 8 minutes, 52 seconds. Clock is rolling. McGuirk, the quarterback, hands off up the middle, almost missed it, but he finally got it, and that's Robert Jackson again. Robert Jackson gains about 2 yards up to the 45-yard line. That's not Robert Jackson. That is Stephen Bryant. Stephen Bryant is the backup fullback to Bam Bam Pritchard. McGuirk, the quarterback, 45-yard line, hands off to Bryant again up the middle. Not much doing. Gains about 2 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and long.
Well, Bryant looks good. Of course, he's replacing a great fullback in Bam Bam Pritchard, who is resting a little while with this lead. But Bryant hits the hole with such authority.
You know, he's so quick that McGuirk, it's all he can do to turn around and get it there fast enough, because Bryant is there so fast. He just explodes to the line of scrimmage. And there was a matter of fact, the first play is Denison's going to go ahead and call a timeout. And we'll take one with them. I tell you what, 7:43 left to go in the fourth quarter. Denison on top, 31-0. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket Football. We'll be back in a moment.
Go.
Welcome back, Munson Stadium. Denison on top, 31-0. McGuirk quarterback, hands off up the middle. That's Howard Jackson. And he runs up and breaks a few tackles. Now he's gang tackled, and he's led by that defensive big monster man on defense, Greg Hitchcock, the MVP linebacker from the district last year. And we haven't mentioned his name a whole lot tonight. We did in the early part, maybe the first quarter, but I guess they're really containing him well on the offensive line.
Great try, but this does bring up a 4th down try. Jamie Butler into the game.
You know, they bring in the second-team offense, and they do all the running. I know McGuirk was probably wanting to air it out like Crawley was getting to, but oh well. Here comes Jamie Butler, left-footed punter, standing at his own 45-yard line, rather. The snap is back. Snap's good. The punt is off. It's a high, wobbly kick inside the 5. Goes off of him. He drops it. Goes back in the end zone. Now he recovers it, and they'll call it a touchback. I thought there for a moment that Mr. Trent Branch had fumbled, and Denison was going to be in spectacular position, but he recovered it.
I think it was pretty close. Chance for a safety there, but they said Branch never had control of the football in the field of play before it deflected off his hands into the end zone, so it's a touchback. And Ryder will start at the 20-yard line. One score to pass along from Bearcat Stadium. It's all Sherman tonight against Paris, as the Bearcats dominating the Paris Wildcats 24-0 in the fourth quarter.
Looks like Coach Tips may have something going on down there.
6:49 left to go in this football game over here in Munson Stadium. 31-0. Denison on top, still holding that shutout. Ryder has to go 80 yards to get on the scoreboard. James Tate, still the quarterback, goes under center this time. Hands off up the middle, a little trap play, and gain up. He's broke another tackle, and now he's gang tackled, hosted by a ton of Yellow Jackets, and he finally gets up to about the 20-yard line. I thought he had gained about 5 yards, but he danced a little in the backfield. They will place the ball on the 24-yard line now. 6:20 and rolling. Bob Brown about to be the winningest coach of all time in Denison Yellow Jacket football history. Man in motion across from the far side. The pitch off to Barnes to the right side. He's got some running room, and now he's stopped. Gets the first down and just barely goes over the first down marker, as now the defense is not quite as tight as it was once before. Is that fourth quarter 31-0 jitters?
A little bit of lapse, I guess. Maybe the guys a little, well, you couldn't say they're tired. They haven't been on the field that much. They've done mostly 3 and outs all game.
Johnny Hoover checks out of the ball game. Some new faces in there. Anthony Waddles will check in. Brent Hubert checks out, so he was in the ball game in that last play. We got some new cornerbacks as well. Billy Arizmendi comes in on the near side. Here's the quarterback, throws out the flats over the far side. He gains about 4 yards, finally brought down. It'll bring up second down and about 5. So, I'll tell you what, Jason, if you would have told me last week that Denison would be on top 31-0 with 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, I would have said you were crazy.
Well, we'd have thought that something would have gotten hit by all that lightning that we had coming back from Wichita Falls last week.
And that's going to be offsides.
Everybody but the center had the snap count on that one.
Tate was in shotgun formation, wanted to snap, lifted his heel up as they normally do when they want to snap, and everybody left except the center. Now we've got Justin Briscoe checking into the ball game. We've already got some new faces. I mentioned Billy Arizmendi. Also Chris Hackworth as a linebacker. Micah Doherty. Cole Prigg.
Well, we got a stoppage of play. I think the Denison band making a little too much noise as Tate asked for them to quiet down, and their referee's going to walk over and talk to the band.
Benny Russell, the referee this afternoon.
Hey, do they do that at Kyle Field? I don't think they do.
But you're not supposed to play when the other team has the football, I don't think.
You know, that's one of those things. That's why Munson Stadium is one of the tougher places to come play. This is the Kyle Field of high school football. Tate back to pass, wants to throw, has a man over in the flats. It's going to be a gain of about 3 yards as he finds Keith Guthier. I can't pronounce that name, I'm sorry. It's a gain of about 5 yards as he reaches the far sidelines. It's going to bring up third and about 6.
Monty, I want to point out something spectacular right now. Number 77 in for his very first varsity football play ever. Right now, a young man that transferred from Sherman to Denison this year has never played football, and he is huge.
That's quite a story, too. James Tate throws out. Skipworth almost makes a great catch. He went up for the football. It bounced around out of his hands. It came down on him, and it looked like he was going to catch it as he was coming down, and the ball just finally fell out. Almost a great catch, but it goes for naught, as now it's fourth down, and I'm sure they will go for it once again.
Talking about number 77, his name's Brandon Fulton, and he came in never playing varsity football or football of any kind before this year, worked his tail off in the offseason, and made the team.
He's a big, big kid, and apparently he has a lot of heart. As Tate throws out in the flats again, and this time it's complete over on the far sideline. He's going to pick up the first down, throws it out to Greg Ralston, and Ralston makes a good catch, and that moves the chains. 4:42 remaining in this football game. It's only a matter of now to see whether Denison can contain the shutout, as it's 31-0. As I mentioned, 4:33 left to go. Here's a handoff up to middle to Barnes. Barnes crosses the 50 into Denison territory, breaks one tackle, moves to the 40. That Barnes just keeps his legs running, and you know it's another thing we haven't talked about a whole lot. DJ Shepard, who was the stud, so in the first half of the football game, we have not seen him in the second half. I don't know what happened to him, but Shepard, who is the shifty runner out of the backfield, has not seen action so far in this second half.
And by the way, the shutout's over at Bearcat Stadium. Paris just scored on an 88-yard touchdown run.
That's the Paris we know.
Tate back to pass from their own 42. Hit as he throws, and the ball is up and out of bounds. It's over his head. I'm going to tell you, Tate is going to be hurting a little bit because he was stuck by Mr. Chris Hackworth. Hackworth was in the backfield, put his nose right in his chest, and Tate was slow to get up. But Tate launched that ball down the field. Looks like it was almost right on the money, just a little bit over the head of his receiver, who was, here's that name again, Keith Guthier. That's what I'm going to call him. 3:58 left to go.
Hackworth with a great play right there. Denison's been blitzing in Tate all night, and it's had pretty good success.
Here's Tate wanting the ball from the shotgun formation, looking left, throwing up high. Guthier makes the catch, breaks a couple of tackles down to the 36. So now the offense is rolling a little bit, but guess what? It's fourth down. They're going to have to go 6 yards in order to get the first down.
Cody McGuirk checking in on the defensive side of the ball now. He'll be playing linebacker on this play.
I think
it's just third down.
Yeah, I think I said fourth. It is just third down. 3rd and 5, 3:27, and rolling. Tate in shotgun formation, double receivers on each side, looking back, wants to go right, throws right. He's got his receiver downfield, running towards the middle, shakes about 2 tacklers, finally brought down at the 25-yard line. He completed that pass to Greg Ralston, and Ralston now has had a pretty good game as he's caught several balls across the middle.
Ryder playing a great offense right now. Denison in that zone defense, the Ryder receivers just going out, finding the seams in the zones, camping out there, and taking what the Yellow Jackets are giving them.
We've got Shelly Pitts Mini-Me out there, number 50. He looks just like him, just wearing a different number. That's Sonny Medford out there. Tate hands off up the middle to Barnes. Barnes breaking tackles, running around. He's kind of the Bam Bam version for their team. Bams his way down to about the 12-yard line. So Denison, trying to maintain this shutout, has got 12 yards in between the goal line and the Ryder Raiders.
McGuirk with the tackle on that.
Tell you, we really like this McGuirk kid. He's played some good football. He's the backup quarterback, does a good job. And, you know, he'll stick you on defense, too. Tate, quarterback, under center. Wants to hand off, runs the naked bootleg to the right. Not very many Denison Jackets out there, but there's enough to hold him out of the end zone as he gets down around the 3-yard line. That was just the old naked bootleg where he looked like he was going to hand off inside, but took the ball, put it on his hip pocket so nobody on the defense could see it, and ran outside and got several yards, enough to pick up first and goal from the 3. 2:26 remaining. Denison on top, 31-0, but Ryder is knocking on the door to spoil the shutout.
See if Denison can come up with a big stop here.
Tate hands off Barnes, straight up the gut. Is he over? He is in. Well, we haven't seen it yet. We saw the players signal for the touchdown, but we never saw the officials.
I think there's a flag down.
Yeah, there is a flag. I see it now on the far side, about the 4-yard line, so that's behind the line of scrimmage.
It's offsides Denison.
Wow. That'll bring it half the distance to the goal line.
No, it's declined. They're going to call it a touchdown, I believe. Yes.
And
yeah, it's going to be the touchdown. They just didn't signal.
That's kind of crazy. Wheels off, if you will. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to go. They just now put it on the scoreboard. 31-6 now. The shutout is gone. And the kicker, Brian Prater, kick is up. Kick is on the way, and the kick is good. So with 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to go in this football game, Denison on top, 31-7. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football. We'll be back in a moment. As the Ryder Raiders beginning to get set for the Cable One kickoff. Prater kicks an onside kick. Denison recovers. Christian Brown grounds it, says, I've got it, falls on it at the 46-yard line of Denison, so they will be working from there. 2 minutes, 6 seconds left. I believe Jason Smith is going to go down on the sidelines. He's going to check down and probably do some interviews with some players and with Coach Brown. Obviously, Coach Brown will want to be able to talk to him for his 90th victory as he becomes Denison's winningest coach of all time. All new faces in the ball game on offense. McGuirk still in as the quarterback. As he barks the signals, one receiver to the left side. He will toss it up the middle. That's a new ball carrier. I believe that might have been Bryant again, and it was. The fullback, Stephen Bryant, who backs up Bam Bam Pritchard. And he gains about an inch.
Jackets just trying to keep it on the ground and run the clock here in the final 2 minutes and wrap up this first victory of the season for Denison High School.
That's right. You're not going to want to throw the football now and stop any of that clock because it's inside 1 minute 30 now. McGuirk, quarterback, under center, hands off up the middle. Stephen Bryant, big hole, rumbling, bumbling down to the 37-yard line. Stephen Bryant just kept those feet going. And, hey, they may have themselves a fullback for the future. Stephen Bryant is a junior, I believe.
I think he carried somebody for about 10 yards on his back.
Let's check down. Jason Smith's down there with the Grayson County area-wide directory. Jason.
That's right, Monty. I have Dewan Gentry with me on the sidelines. Dewan, what do you think about these Jackets? We'll talk to you in just a minute. Let's get this play underway.
McGuirk, the quarterback at the 37, barks the call. One receiver to the right, hands off Bryant again up the middle. This time not as big of a hole, but he does get about 3 yards. Hey, prime time.
Yeah, prime time. Back right here on the sidelines. Dewan, what's it feel like being back on the sidelines at a high school game?
It feels great. I haven't been home in a while, and to come home and see my old team play, it's great. And I was down there and heard about them being 0-2, so I was like, what? I couldn't believe it, so I had to come down there and see for myself, but it looks like to me these boys are ready.
Ask him if this is the Munson Stadium of, or the Kyle Field of high school football.
Now, is this the Munson Stadium, kind of a Kyle Field of high school football right here, you think?
Never that. No. There's way more people up there. It's a big capacity up there.
Now, how's A&M treating you?
Lovely. I like it. It's been good to me. I mean, everything is going good.
Good deal. Dewan Gentry, huge, outstanding running back here at Denison. Thanks.
And that's going to be the ball game, folks. As the clock winds down, Denison, your Yellow Jackets are back in the win column in 2001. We'll be back in a moment as Denison Yellow Jacket football will continue in a moment with a 31-7 victory.